And after several days of bitter, utter warfare, the dust has settled, and every major conference has happened. But only one of which is the victor. What's going on, everybody? It's Q from RetroQ Gaming, and we have covered pretty much all the major E3 press conferences at this point. I did skip two of them because they are companies who are 100% irrelevant to me, and obviously they have nothing to offer me. So, having said all that, what did we watch and who won E3 for me? That's the big question on everyone's mind. So, first off, we did not watch EA and we did not watch Ubisoft, meaning everything in this video is taken into consideration from the Microsoft showcase, the Sony showcase, the Nintendo showcase, the Bethesda showcase, the Square Enix showcase, and the PC gaming show. Now obviously this doesn't take into consideration all the smaller announcements that are going to happen over the next few days, as well as some of the smaller announcements that have already happened over the last few days. And before we get into who won E3 for me and why, I do want to give you a quick little bit of info on generally how I grade these things and what I take into consideration when looking at who won E3. So first and foremost, this is obviously my opinion. This is what wins in my opinion to appeal to me personally. It's not about what appeals to the largest audience, or I'm not grading it on what appeals to a certain select audience or overall. I'm looking at what appeals to me the most. I don't take any third-party multi-platform announcements into consideration because they can happen anytime, anywhere. And the fact that they're available on multiple platforms makes the specific show they were actually announced in irrelevant. The only exception for that is, like I did mention, those are third-party multiplats, so the one exception would be something like Microsoft with the first-party multiplats, because they are going to only be on Xbox and PC. So what did it for me? What was the big deal for me? Was it Square Enix and Kingdom Hearts 3? Was it Sony and The Last of Us Part 2? Was it Nintendo and Fire Emblem? Was it Bethesda and Fallout 76? Was it Microsoft and Halo Infinite? Or was it one of the many announcements at the PC gaming show? Well, to many people's, what I can only probably call bewilderment, what appeals to me the most and wins in my personal case is actually Microsoft, believe it or not. Granted, Microsoft did show off a lot of stuff, as did many other companies except Nintendo, at least as far as the three main manufacturers go. Microsoft showed off the most games that are pertinent to me. Now, of course, when you look at something like the Nintendo conference, it was a very sparse and bare bones conference with basically nothing from third parties. Two late ports we already knew were coming and one new one announced. But outside that, all they really had was a couple of their low-end games, Smash, which I'm personally not interested in this entry in the series, and Fire Emblem, which yes, I cannot wait for, which looks great. But then you compare that to something like the Sony conference. Terrible in presentation, mind you, from the Sony side of it. But the big deal with the Sony side is they really only talked about their 4 existing upcoming games that we know about. Death Stranding, aka Kojima Presents Walking Simulator, a game that I still cannot properly formulate an opinion on, simply because we know basically nothing about it still, other than the fact that it's a walking simulator and there's a little bit of ghostage going on. Now, of course, many people are going to claim this game a masterpiece already and saying, you don't understand it, this, that, and the other. Well, guess what? I've watched the trailers, I've put them together. You're just probably a Kojima fanboy. We also have Ghost of Tsushima, a game I'm not personally interested in. Spider-Man, again, a game I'm not personally interested in. And The Last of Us Part 2, a game I am exceptionally interested in. They did a whole big deep dive showcase on all 4 of these games, going into a lot of detail, well, with the exception of Death Stranding, because Death Stranding. But out of all those games, they only showcased one game that I am interested in. Pretty much everything else that was shown off during that presentation was either third-party multiplat, looking at you, Resident Evil 2 Remake, can't wait for that, but it's on every platform. Except the Nintendo Switch, because nothing's on that. And of course, Sony announced no general, huge, AAA, major first-party projects. So there was nothing to get super hyped for on that front. Things like the Square Enix conference, the PC Gaming conference, and the Bethesda conference, they all had a little bit of cool info in there, 1 or 2 cool announcements here or there, but overall nothing major. I'm really looking forward to new Doom, hopefully new Wolfenstein is better than the new Colossus, and maybe even Fallout 76 might turn out to be a decent game. Square Enix of course have Kingdom Hearts 3, And there was various small to middle-sized announcements in the PC gaming show to pique my interest. But that's where we come back to Microsoft, and Microsoft actually announced 3 brand new games, all of which were interesting to me personally. Now yes, of course they showed a bunch of other stuff that will also be multiplats, like for example Metro Exodus and Cyberpunk 2077 to name but a few. Oh, and Dying Light 2. But Microsoft announced 3 games that I am personally interested in, more than any other company properly fully showed. Those games of course being Halo Infinite, Gears of War 5, and believe it or not, Gears Tactics, because yes, I do like strategy games. Both real-time strategy games and ones along the lines of turn-based stuff like XCOM, Fire Emblem, Advance Wars, etc. So even having completely discounted most of their other announcements because, like I said, they're pretty much multiplats or stuff that doesn't interest me, that's why the Microsoft one wins for me. It offered more high profile or at least more interesting announcements directly influential on me, my gaming and my purchases. So feel free to call me a fanboy in the comments section below, despite many people saying I'm a fanboy hating on Microsoft. But hey, have at it, this is the internet after all. And while you're down there in the comment section, make sure you let me know what you thought was your winner of E3. Be it specific games, specific conferences, why and why not. So let me know all that good stuff in the comments section below. Make sure to hit the appropriate button to let me know how I did with the video. And then swing on over and hit that subscribe button and even click the notification bell. Granted, in current year, YouTube probably still won't send you all the notifications for the new uploads and the live streams and whatnot, but hey, at least you can say you tried, right? Anyway, as always guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the rest of the videos in my channel.